No.
Why?
You know what? Where there is discomfort, there is growth, and I will learn my boundaries one day.
Can I have soup when it's 1,000 degrees outside?
Yes.
Okay.
It is 1,000 degrees outside. I had chicken noodle soup. Because I'm stupid.
Welcome, everyone, to the Nerd World Order podcast. This is Abel Ozen. Joining me, as always, are my co-host, the co-conspirator, CJ.
Look at the part of my forehead that's covered by my hair. It's way wider than the rest of my forehead.
That's a tan.
That's fantastic.
And Barker.
Man, starting this show off with a bang.
You have that too.
Me?
The top of your forehead is lighter than the rest of your forehead. Wow.
Not that white. I mean, I when I'm at home, I put my hair up.
Not that Caucasian.
Yeah.
Oh, are we doing that now? Is that what we're doing?
The NWO, we're trying to take over the world by spreading the weekly pop culture news from across different genres, which include movies, comics, TV shows, or anything that we consider nerd. The Nerd World Order podcast, your greatest poopertainment since 2017. All right, guys, we are doing show 126 officially. That is probably longer than any, like if that was one a year, that's longer than any humans ever lived. So congratulations to us. What's the record?
Are we syndicating?
Anybody know what the record is?
No. It's getting more and more all the time.
Well, so I just believe the person who is going to live 200 is alive already.
300.
Not 300.
Yeah. I've read that.
What are you, Ricky Bobby?
I don't know.
In that part of the movie where he's like, with my income and at the scientific advances, I can live 150, 155, no problem.
I mean, somebody's will. I think I think we're up to we're in the 130s. I think someone is. I mean, not us.
The oldest person ever was a French lady called Jeanne Calment, and she was 122 years old. With 164 days.
Or is that just her name?
That she's French, man. It's Jeanne Calment.
Like her name's just like Mary, but they're like, we're gonna call her this.
Look, man, I took French class. All right.
There's a difference between having a name and being called something.
It's Jeanne Calment.
I think you're saying it perfectly.
Thank you. I appreciate that, CJ. See,
beautiful.
In English, it would be Calment, but in French, the language of love is Calment.
Okay, so
get some culture,
French,
you swines.
If you
I cut out. What'd you say? Samurai sword.
I agreed with you.
Oh, okay.
So the thing about French is they don't care if you say it right. Just say it as pretty as you possibly can. French is the language of beauty and wonder, and if it doesn't sound pretty, then don't say it.
And German's the complete opposite.
Just as angry as possible. It could be like the loveliest poem ever. It just sounds like you're just yelling at a raccoon.
You could switch a Hitler speech and somebody reading a love poem, and I couldn't tell you which one was which.
No. You know how they count in French?
Cat sinks.
You know, the German audience is just like 9. They're just shutting their shit up right now.
Get your dad jokes out of here.
Agreeing.
No, I'm kidding.
In France, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go for it.
Well, mine's dumb, and it feels dumb now.
What? No, say it.
Oh well, okay. Do you know how they count? You know how they count 80 in France? They say 420s. It's like I don't know what the words are, but there's no 80. There's just 420s, and it keeps going like that. And then it's 420s 1, 420s 2, 420s 3, and it just keeps going like that.
Well, I know my numbers in French. I used to know them to 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. No, wait, let me start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, I guess I just.
Okay,
yeah, that was totally 100.
I said I used to know them. I used to know them to 100. All right, let's move forward. Before I sit here and try to figure. You know what? I'm gonna Google it real quick. Actually,
running off the rails
in French.
Fuck it.
Not even 5 minutes into the show, we're running off the rails. Man, it's gonna be a good show.
Fuck these rails.
Yeah, no, CJ's right. It's Quatre Vents, which is 40-20s.
420s, but yes.
Oh, yeah, 420s. Quatre is 4, and then Vent is 20. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it goes 420s 1, 420s 2. It just keeps going. It's crazy.
You think
and it's just because it sounds pretty.
You think instead of 420 they just say 80 in French?
Oh, I don't know. Probably not.
Any French listeners, let us know if you guys A, celebrate 420, and B, if you guys just call it 80. I would really like to know that. Is anybody drinking any booze?
No. Yes.
Mine's just a hodgepodge of alcohol and fruit juices.
And sadness.
And you're not drinking anything?
Oh, yeah. That's what makes it taste so much better, the sadness.
Yeah, it really is. Sadness is the spice of life. Everybody knows that.
What do you got, Abel?
The beer's upstairs, but I don't want to go upstairs because I started running and my knee hurts, and I'd rather just sit down and not drink a beer. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
Did you take your one a day?
No, I'm wearing my Depends though.
Okay.
I'm feeling all 70 of my 30 years on Earth lately. It's bad.
Yeah, dude.
Abel's dying of COVID.
This is gonna sound really hipsterish, but where'd I put my glasses? Not that, but I wake up and stretch and do yoga and meditate a little bit, and dude, it's the hardest thing I've done in a long time. To like
actually really good
get up and it's super good for you. But like I watch these YouTube videos and the lady's like, okay, now a face word, dog or tabletop, and she's like toes touching her ears and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck am I supposed to do that? Like I can't. I'm as stiff as a log. Like I can't move like that. Pisses me off.
Over time.
Yeah, I know.
You say you're doing yoga?
Yeah, like super novice yoga.
I just heard the meditation. You know how I learned to meditate? Russell Brand.
Yeah, he's on
another level.
Meditation really helps me with my anxiety and stuff. So I was off of it for a long, long time, but I just started up over the last week, and I forgot like what I remember. I reminded myself, I'm like, why did I ever stop this? And you don't have to like sit there and like your stereotypical yoga pose or whatever. Yeah. No, really all meditation is concentrating on your breathing in and out, in and out. You can lay down if you can avoid sleeping, or what I do, I just sit on the corner of the couch and just turn everything off. Mine is guided. So like I'll pull up a YouTube video or a podcast or whatever, and they'll talk to me. And then 10 minutes, like, dude, it's freeing.
Oh, I just try to not think things like.
Well, that's a common misconception of what I.
Well, okay. I shouldn't say not think things, but you don't follow the thoughts.
That's exactly what it is. It's like if something pops up in your head, you don't go down that rabbit hole or that trail. You're just like, oh, I thought about lunch today. Okay, well, there goes.
You let it go.
You just let it go. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay? So if you actually do that for 3 weeks every day in a row, your frontal lobe will physically get bigger.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good for you. And it helps. It balances all your chemicals out in your. Well, I mean, not all of them, but it helps with that a lot. So
yeah, it's legit. Like I did it all winter, and then when spring came around and stuff, I didn't feel like I needed to do it, but I'm like, you know what? Let me get back to it. And yeah, it's great.
Dustin's lost in a world of make believe right now. He has no idea what's even happening.
Running out the rails, man. I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's keep. We're crossing streams right now in our other podcast, Yoga and Meditating for Stiff Dudes. So let's move on. Andres couldn't make the show today. Unfortunately, he's working. But as always, I know when I have to start working on the show when Andres tells me, hey, I have my anime news ready. I'm like, oh, you're right. Yeah, I should start working on the show. So he keeps me in check. So the piece of news that he's reporting this week in the Andres Loza Memorial Anime Minute. One Piece fans know a lot has happened in the Wano country arc so far, and it is only about to get more hectic. The manga is showing off the Straw Hats in a big way as Monkey D. Luffy prepares for a fight of the ages. But thanks to the most recent chapter of One Piece, fans have learned some invaluable information about Kaido. There you go.
Damn.
What? Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez.
That's
What are we going to do?
What are you going to do? Ghostbusters, I guess? I don't know.
The apocalypse is happening. And
Continue to not watch One Piece, probably.
I heard it's really good, though.
It is good. It's also longer than we've ever been alive.
Oh, yeah, you told me that. You wanted to start it, and it's like 100 seasons of like 20 episodes.
I went to the Wikipedia page, and you just scroll for like minutes through the list of seasons. It's fucking insane. It's crazy. It's crazy.
There's a meme I saw, and it was just like, when somebody lies when they said they've watched all of One Piece.
Yeah. I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take a look at that.
Actually, I know someone who has. It's crazy. He kept trying to get me to watch it, and then I brought my complaints to him. Dude, I will be 40 by the time I'm done with half of this. Like, I can't. And by the time I'm 40, they will have 9 more seasons out.
I was about to say, yeah. You get
They're
to
still making One Piece, yeah.
The analogy I think is you're climbing the mountain and you're like 60 years old. I've made the top, and then the clouds separate, and then there's like a whole other mountain you got to climb.
Yeah, fuck all that. I'm all about these one season. I've been watching a lot of anime lately, actually. I'm all about these like 12 episode seasons. They're pretty nice.
I looked into the one that you were talking about last time, the Shikiri or
Cheeky? Did I recommend Cheeky?
No, man, I'm not about that life. That looked crazy.
No, it's hardcore, baby.
No, I was not about that life. I watched like
it creeped me out a couple times, and I'm hard to creep out.
Is that the one where they're skull fucking people, right?
No, Jesus Christ, dude!
I just felt like when Whitney was on the show, he was always talking about like they're furries and they shove stuff up their ass and then they kill people and they drink their blood and then fuck their skulls or something. And I'm like,
Abel, you downloaded the wrong Netflix. I don't know what the fuck you wanted, bro.
What I downloaded was Skull Fuck Next flicks.
You downloaded like hate flicks. I don't know what the hell you did. Something terrible.
A snuff flicks.
Question: didn't he download hate flicks?
That's terrible.
Oh my god.
No, mine's not that bad.
But it's cool, pretty bad. Like even like the episode names are like very morbid.
Yeah, it's like 12th funeral and like 13th skullfuck or something. I can't remember.
See, so there is skull fucking. I know it.
No, I don't know.
No, it's like on the line. It doesn't actually say skull fuck, but it's just like cranium, sensual lovemaking.
Cranial penetration. That's terrible.
Cranial dry humping.
No, it's actually a badass show though, but only if you're able. Like you'll like it. Dustin, yeah, it's not you.
That got way too real quick.
All right. Well, I guess you can bring it up when we're talking. You can bring it up when we're talking about the animated movie. See if that's kind of similar.
Okay.
All right.
It's not.
We can move forward in this weekend. There was a couple of deaths in the nerd world this week, over the last week and a half, I should say. Sir Ian Holm, Cuthbert, he is better known as Bilbo Baggins. He passed away. He was 88 years old. He passed away on June 19th. Complications of Parkinson's, which sucks. But his nerd bona fides are like, you can put him up against anybody else's, and they're right there. Obviously, I mentioned Bilbo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He was Ash in Aliens. He was the android. He was Skinner in Ratatouille. He was the restaurant owner that they kicked out. He was in The Fifth Element, Father Vito Cornelius. So yeah, he had a lot of prominent nerd roles in a lot of movies that are in genre. And yeah, he definitely did his thing. And somebody's always going to remember him for something, either if it's Ash from Aliens or obviously, like I mentioned, Bilbo Baggins in Lord of the Rings. So yeah, I mean, and just, I don't know if you want to say good timing, but timing nonetheless, that we just watched all the Lord of the Ring movies.
Yeah, good job dying
he was in
now.
there, yeah.
And you're relevant. Yeah.
Yeah. So timing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good timing, but timing on our part.
Yeah. That's kind of weird, honestly. Weird. We can, I don't know, maybe those shows are dedicated to that guy, yeah?
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I can save it, actually.
Okay.
Oh, well, you got me thinking, who's got the biggest nerd dick? Like, who's got the best nerd bona fides? Let's go.
Ian
my mind went to George Lucas.
McKellen is up there, I think.
Is it just
Patrick
actors? George Lucas, obviously.
Well, yeah, I'm talking actors. Yeah.
Okay, Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
He's not different. He's not a lot of different things, though, necessarily.
I think
Johnny Depp.
Harrison
Ford. I mean, Indiana Jones and Han Solo.
Yeah, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
You got a lot of shit with him.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a show in itself. Like, just trying to bring him the biggest nerd dick.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we just measure?
Yeah. I got a measuring tape, so.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I don't need one. I could just yeah.
Just flop it on the table and let it go.
See, just got a thumb. Let's see. Joel.
That's all I thought, so.
The other nerd, he was more than in the nerd sphere, but he did do a couple of very memorable nerd things. And there's Joel Schumacher, who died on June 22nd.
Oh, yeah.
He was 80 years old. He died of complications of cancer. And the two things that he directed that stick with me the most, that resonate the most, obviously, are Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And I saw a lot of retroactive love towards Batman Forever anyways, just because of the aesthetic of Gotham City, and we're never going to get to see that again. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Batman Forever, whether it's, Jim Carrey's Riddler or whatever. Like, I unironically like that movie, and I hope people come around on it. But yeah, he also directed a few other movies. He directed The Lost Boys. So he just brought up this movie before, Phone Booth.
Oh, really?
That's a great movie.
Yeah. And one movie that randomly just pops into my head every once in a while is 8mm with Nicolas Cage. He also directed that one.
He did? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phone Booth and Lost Boys are two American classics. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Lost Boys is anyways.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Phone Booth?
Phone Booth is
like years ago.
That's a great movie. I love that movie. Everyone I've ever asked about it, hey, they all talk shit on it. How can you make a movie in one spot? But they do. It's awesome.
Maybe I have to rewatch it.
I feel like very underrated movie. In my opinion, very underrated.
But
what'd you say?
When I was doing some research on Schumacher and his life, this is like up there with like Wilt Chamberlain. He said he slept with 50,000 women or whatever, 100,000 women. This is up there for me, anyways. So I'm gonna read this verbatim. Schumacher was openly gay throughout most of his film career. According to Schumacher, this fact was purposefully reflected as a statement in many of his films. Schumacher also claimed to have had sex with up to 20,000 men.
Damn.
That's a lot, yeah.
Damn. Statistically speaking, he might have had sex with one of us.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe. It's possible.
He's right.
He's the 1 in 3, and there's 3 of us. So
my money's on you.
I'm insane. Huh?
My money's on you.
So's mine.
Jesus Christ.
Now, I will say this, like you were saying, Abel. I feel like the Batman movies were kind of like our childhood, and a lot of people can rag on it, but I feel like they get a bad rap. They really do. I feel like the aesthetic behind Gotham and just kind of not really portraying a comic accurate, but at least kind of a more of a campy comic book movie and everything back in the 90s was kind of the thing to do. I think they just get a bad rap.
Honestly, it's really like Batman for kids in the movies, which ain't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I like that. I like Batman Forever a lot. Like I get it. Like Batman and Robin was kind of but yeah, no. You can never have me turn my back on Batman Forever. I fucking love that movie.
You know what? I sometimes just pops into my head randomly.
What?
That scene where Chris O'Donnell pulls off his lips. I don't know why.
Poison Ivy, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why that pops into my head like once a week. I don't know why. Yeah, just randomly. It's very, very strange.
That is very weird. In that scene, actually, there's a very bad edit of when Poison Ivy's drowning Robin. So Robin is like drowning like this, right? But instead of like cutting the scene there, they like reverse the film so it looks like he's double drowning, but in reverse. So it's like it's weird editing. I don't. And that was when I didn't know shit about editing or anything like that as a kid, and even then I was like, "What the fuck is that? Like, you think you can get that speed? Like, no."
Like 6 times. Like, okay, and let's go to the next.
Yeah.
Abel, you should watch it again with your critic's eye now. And
I'll hate it for sure.
See what happens.
Yeah, I'll hate it. I'll hate it for sure. I know already.
That's the point, and that'll be funny, and you should do that.
You should.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just compare it. It'll be funny.
Yeah.
Unless you would like to rather not make yourself hate that movie. But.
No, I get it. Because when you're watching movies as a kid, it's completely different. Like when the Power Rangers movie came out a few years ago, I rewatched the old one just because like I wanted to see it. And I'm like, holy shit, this is bad. Like, this is bad. I remember this being better. This is bad.
Talk about editing, like when the White Power Ranger does like his like quadruple like spin.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
God, as a kid, I was like, man, that's horrible. Like,
yeah.
You couldn't even do it. Like even like CGI, like no, they just.
That's fine.
Like,
hey, can I just say something?
And then just kind of like speed it up like 18 times.
Can I say something?
What?
That's gonna annoy you guys. You don't want to know a movie from my childhood that holds up?
Predator.
Don't say Predator.
He said
Predator. It holds up. It's awesome. Just had to throw that out there. Sorry.
You like Predator.
I do. It holds up. I just wanted to point that out.
Moving on.
Annoyingly so.
Hey CJ.
Yeah.
Do you love the NWO?
Yeah.
Do you like supporting things you love by giving them an amount of money so small that you wouldn't notice or feel leaving your bank account?
Yeah.
Then you'd be perfect to donate to the NWO cause, which will help us create more content and become a better podcast. Is that something you like to do?
Yeah.
Then visit us on patreon.com/NoRuledOrder and give us a monthly donation to help us out. Or if you want, give us a one-time donation. Please go to our PayPal at nerdworldorder2@gmail.com.
Yeah?
Yeah, and remember folks, obey the NWO.
Yeah.
Moving on. Just a quick hit on video game news. Did you guys see the trailer for Star Wars Squadron?
No.
That game looks amazing. So basically, you're just flying like fighter jets and you're a fighter pilot in the Star Wars universe after the Battle of Endor, which is after Episode 6, before Episode 7, and the graphics just look amazing. Like there's no way once I have my PlayStation 5 that I'm not picking up this game. It looks fantastic. I suggest you guys watch it after we get off the podcast.
I am retiring.
Sure. When's the last time you played? Mobile games count too, CJ. You know that, right? Yeah, well, I thought so.
I don't know. Roger Clemens plays baseball in his backyard. Why doesn't count?
No,
that definitely counts. If he's taking batting practice,
he's retired.
Throwing pitches.
Okay, bullshit. All the time, like, no, I know for a fact your mobile games, you're playing against somebody. That's still playing a video game.
Yeah, that's the video game, man.
Roger Clemens throws to his kid.
He's not trying to beat his kid.
Roger Clemens is very competitive. He might be trying to beat his kid.
As long as he's not trying to beat off his kid.
Well, yes, it's all great. Now we just started Roger Clemens pedophilia rumors. Thanks, Abel.
No, that's definitely video game.
Are his balls even big enough to pedophile? These are the real questions we need to be asking.
Jesus Christ, please don't.
But that's an unexplored era of Star Wars, and I'm super excited. Another, you can't transition out of that smoothly, so I'm just gonna do it. Another game they're thinking about are the same developers that did the Arkham trilogy. Is they're thinking about doing a Suicide Squad that spins off of Rocksteady. And they're thinking about doing a Suicide Squad game with that same Harley Quinn that was in the game.
All right.
That sounds terrible.
Why?
Because it's not Batman. No, you're just gonna be Harley Quinn. She's not a detective. She's not.
You're gonna get to multitask with all the Suicide Squads, but they're saying that Harley Quinn is gonna lead the team because Harley Quinn is the most popular character.
Okay, but think about like gameplay. She has a bat. That's her deal. Batman has a lot of deals.
Okay, and then you could switch over to Deadshot, who is a Deadshot, and then you could switch over to Captain Boomerang, who has boomerangs, and then you can switch over to Killer Croc, who eats people. Like
Batman does all those.
He eats people. Himself. He eats people.
I mean, he might.
Hey, do you think when people give Batman a blowjob, they get COVID because he's a bat?
No, it's a different type of bat meat.
Oh, okay. So what if they eat his ass?
You
just get big guy.
You know, like you know, Batman likes to get his ass eaten.
They probably just get the check and leave. I guess. I don't know though.
But they're also teasing another video game called Gotham Knights, and this is supposed to center around the Court of Owls, which is pretty fucking dope.
Oh, cool.
I like that story a lot. Yeah. But there are rumors that they're saying that it's going to revolve around Damian instead of Bruce. So
that's still far with it.
Barker, what's the last video game you played?
Oh shit. Probably Arkham Origins.
Is that the last one?
Yeah.
What's the last game?
Arkham Origins.
Right on. Well, that was like, what, 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Jesus. Okay, a little bit of Flashpoint news before we get out of this segment. So first thing is, this is outside of Flashpoint, but it's DC, I guess DC news. They released a Snyder Cut teaser trailer. Did you see that? New footage never before seen with Wonder Woman, like exploring some sort of cave or some sort of dungeon. And then we get to see a visual of Darkseid. And it's literally like 40 seconds long, maybe, if that. But yeah, completely new imagery. Enough to get your dick hard a little bit. Not full 6 to 12, but you're getting some blood flow down there.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting there. But yeah, it was exciting to see that they actually do have footage that they're going to use for an upcoming movie. So that's pretty good.
I heard a rumor. I don't know like how completely true it is, but they want to. Obviously, they're going to try to bring in the Green Lantern, and they want Ryan Reynolds, which I hope.
Heard that too.
I hope they use somebody else.
Well,
like I like Ryan Reynolds, but he's Deadpool. He's not a Green Lantern.
Well, hold that note real quick. Hold that. So there are multiple sources, excuse me, let me backtrack. Multiple rumors with some backed up sources that are saying a couple of things that is going to set off the Flashpoint movie, like to the umpteenth degree, or however you want to put it. CG has had his qualms with the idea of a Flashpoint movie, but hear me out. So there's always been a rumor that Jeffrey Dean Morgan might play Thomas Wayne as Batman, like we see in the Flashpoint comic book and the movie, which would be awesome. Also, what broke the internet, really like it was trending #1 worldwide, is that Michael Keaton is supposed to come back as Bruce Wayne in the Flashpoint movie. So what that tells me is that they are trying to bring all those movie universes together somehow and to build one, either to try to build one universe or to establish a multiverse, which is fucking amazing because that way you can get away with making three different, you can get away with making a Joker movie like they just did, and you can get away with making a Robert Pattinson movie. You can get away with making, the Suicide Squad movie with James Gunn. That's a completely different thing. And I like that. I like that they're taking the complete opposite approach from Marvel and kind of spreading out their universes. And I like that. And I want to hear you guys' opinions on that, and which is when you can bring in the idea of them showcasing Ryan Reynolds in maybe Flashpoint to show that even that movie is connected to that universe. So what are your guys' thoughts on it?
My initial instinct is to not like it. I think, okay, like, you would consider us as being fairly plugged into the nerd world or to the nerd world. We have a podcast that we do stuff for, but most people aren't. And there's going to be a lot of confusion for a lot of folks, I think, probably. And that's not always good. Now, that doesn't speak to the quality of the movies. That's what it is for me. If they make good movies, we're going to have a good time. But for, like, the average person, I don't know. It's risky, I think. But maybe, they kind of fuck themselves, right? They have to now, pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
Barker, what are your thoughts?
It's born of necessity. But my initial instinct is to think it's probably the wrong move. But we'll see.
Oh, man. I read a couple articles, and one of them that kind of made the most sense to this is that they make Michael Keaton's Batman kind of like a Nick Fury, in that, like, he's bringing all the different kind of, like you said, the other movie universes together. Initially, I would think they're just trying to cover their ass and trying to make these movies better by doing this, but I don't think it's going to be that great. If they do anything with it, I wish that they do like a Michael Keaton Batman Beyond, where they kind of do a new universe with that.
I heard that. I like that idea too, that maybe once they set this multiverse in motion, that in the old 89 world, they're to the point where there's a Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis, which would be fucking dope, I think. Because the articles that I was reading on Michael Keaton was saying that this isn't going to be a one-time thing. Like, this is like a multi-picture deal. So if they do that, not only are they going to set up the multiverse, but they're going to set up Batman Beyond, and he as, the aging, but the man behind the desk, the chair, Batman, and that is fucking dope, because that to me shows that DC's listening to fans, because that idea is not novel. Like, I've heard that idea for years now, that they want Michael Keaton back as Batman, and that would be the best way to do that, is to have him be the old man Bruce Wayne like he was in the cartoon. So I'm all for that. That sounds amazing.
Like I said, like I felt like the whole, like, him being like the DC's Nick Fury, it didn't make too much sense. I mean, it kind of does, but I just feel like they're kind of grabbing at strings with that. Now, if they do, like we talked about, doing kind of a Batman Beyond and everything, that kind of pushing it a little bit more forward and everything, I think that'd be just a great idea.
I think it's a good thing they waited till now, because the technology required for that probably is pretty substantial. Like if they made Batman Beyond in the 80s, it's a totally different movie than it is now. That would actually be cool now.
Well, I don't think Batman Beyond was a thing until the cartoon in the 90s.
Even still, though, that's 20 years ago. The movie they make will be cooler now. So.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I'm for it. I think it's a good idea. I think, it's been mentioned on the show a million times by me. There's no reason now that they should follow the footsteps of Marvel, because there's absolutely no way you can.
See where that gets them.
You can do better than that, because either you're going to take the approach that they did before and try to rush everything into a universe, which didn't work out for them, or you take the slow burn. And I don't think you can't possibly be as good as the Marvel Universe was. So I like this. I like the fact that they're establishing multi-universes, and you can just tell whatever story you fucking want. And then if people want to, because then people can just enjoy a movie, you know, like I guess if there's one con, I don't think it's a con, but one fallback to the Marvel universe is that the casual fan, they'll always ask like, do I need to watch this, and that to get that? And maybe with the DC universe, it's like, nope, you can go in fresh as long as you know Batman, as long as you know Superman, like you're gonna enjoy it. So I'm all for it.
I probably generally agree with your optimism. I get in that regard, but it boils down to make quality movies. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
like where is it confirmed of Batman Year One?
It's not confirmed, but it's all signs point to it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that a lot hinges on the quality of that movie. I think, to be honest with you, I want to see how good it is. I don't know if I'm optimistic or I don't know. I want to see. If they make a good movie, if they can just prove that they can make a really like a great movie, one great movie, that'll go a long way to how I feel about the future.
And just to kind of keep what CJ's saying, I don't think this should be kind of their kind of cop out that they keep doing. If they do like 2 bad movies and then they just do a multiverse with Keaton, I feel like this is kind of a one thing and kind of like let it go. Like you got to rely on quality. You know, you can't just keep going back to this.
Well, they've made like 2 bad universes, and this is their cop out. So, like,
but I mean, like after this, what they're going to do and everything, that you can't keep doing that. You know, like you got to rely on good directors, good actors, and good story.
Yeah, it's all about the quality. Make quality content, and we'll fucking watch it. But they have yet to prove they can consistently do that.
Yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see. There's only one way to do it, and that's to watch the movie. So one reason to stay alive. And real quick, there was a Doom Patrol Season 2 trailer, but that really doesn't matter because the first episode came out today. Have you seen it yet, Barker?
No, I'm actually going to watch it after the show.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to watch it tonight. So I think the season picks up where Season 1 left off, where they were shrunken out of the neutral zone or whatever, the neutral zone. And they're trying to get big again. So, yeah, I'm excited to catch it. So if it's on the DC Universe and on HBO Max. So whichever one you guys have, check it out.
Didn't we last leave our heroes in like a goat's ass or something?
Yeah, they just came out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember.
Alrighty, that is all the news, the nerd news fit to print. Now let's move on.
I've got a quick one real quick.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
So since we're kind of sticking on DC right now and everything, this is a little tidbit that I pulled up yesterday. So there are reports that DC is actually talking to Brie Larson about one of their roles, a female prominent role in the DC universe. These roles reportedly include Lady Blackhawk, Hawkwoman, Big Barda, and Zatanna. Warner Brothers is hoping to establish more female heroes as prominent figures in the DCEU, and so they're hoping to reel in a big-name actress like Larson.
I don't know if that's allowed. I mean, I'm sure she has a Marvel contract, and I'm sure in big, bold fucking letters in, Comic Sans or whatever, it says like you cannot go to the DC or you can't film a DC Universe movie. I would assume.
I kind of have issue with that, to be honest. I so much more am drawn to like talented no names. Like these movies can bring up so many actors if they wanted to, instead of relying on just people we already know. Like, because I mean, we're gonna go watch these movies regardless. They could bring up a lot. They need to get. They could do a lot of good for a lot of people instead of just reusing the same people over and over. Like, do I want Ryan Reynolds to be Green Lantern? Certainly. But would it be really cool to see someone else be Green Lantern? Someone we've never heard of who's great? That'd be way better. Same applies to
I agree on that. Like, they need to find like the Hugh Jackman that nobody's heard of and everything like that, and he becomes that role. I don't want to see Chris Evans going to DC and becoming the next Superman. Like, it just, you gotta find that next person. And stop reusing the other the rivals people. It's not.
There's a shitload of actors.
Yeah, shitload.
Britain is full of actors.
No shit. Yeah, Britain is
American superheroes.
An island filled of superhero actors. So yeah, I'm sure they can find one.
They're taking our job.
They took her there.
Who's the next Taron Egerton? Come
on. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, for two reasons, I don't think that's viable. I think it has to be. If I'm any kind of entertainment lawyer, I'm saying you can't do another one of these movies for somebody else. And B, I tend to agree with CG on that point. There's a fuck ton of actors, and if I'm an executive, I'm trying to find the next big thing, and I'd rather go, find somebody new rather than go to the old well, and
plus,
actors over and over again.
Plus, having big time actors is nice, but you got to pay them.
Yeah.
And not to say you shouldn't pay small time actors, but it does lend an advantage budgetary wise. Yeah. You're spending a lot of money to pay, Robert Downey Jr. $8 billion or whatever, and cuts into your budget is all I'm saying. I'm trying to make good movies over here.
I just feel like RDJ, he's Iron Man. He can't be Batman. You can't have. There's only a couple exceptions. Chris Evans, Michael B. Jordan, but for the most part, you only get to be one superhero.
Okay. So yeah, that was a good piece of news there, Barker. Appreciate the input there. So
it's shit on my news, but okay.
I didn't shit on your news. That was good. That brought up conversation. That's producing right there.
No, that was me. Fuck your news.
All right. Before we get into the main event of the evening, we do have some Florida news because of course we do. Florida man carrying nearly 500 grams of weed tries to steal plane to meet girlfriend, police say. Man told officers he needed to meet his girlfriend in California.
Party on.
Officer, wait. Officer.
She's going to kill me, officer.
Have you not seen Tinder lately?
I'm sure his girlfriend had 3 teeth. All right. So speaking of our main event, that's the best segue I can do, I guess, is we are going to talk about a couple things Constantine today. Not all things Constantine because we didn't watch all or read all, but we did watch a couple of things. We kind of merged the two things that we were going to do anyways into one thing and kind of maybe compare and contrast. So the first thing that we're really going to talk about for sure is the next animated movie in the DC universe, and that is Constantine, City of Demons. And the other thing that we're going to kind of compare and contrast with is the 2005 live-action adaptation of Constantine, starring Keanu Reeves. And then we're going to give our input on it and stuff. So it's constantly Constantine is what I'm going to call the show. So, but before we get into it, there's a little bit of background on Constantine. His first appearance in a comic book was in Swamp Thing 25 of June 1984. It was actually just a cameo. His first full appearance was a few issues after that in issue 37, which was in June of 1985, so a full year later. Created by Alan Moore, he was actually the best-selling comic book character, I guess you want to say, in the old DC imprint of Vertigo. And Vertigo used to be the more adult-oriented comic book line. So it used to have Hellblazer, it used to have Swamp Thing, it used to have Sandman, it used to have Preacher. So more adult-oriented comics were on the Vertigo line, and Constantine was the best-selling Vertigo book of all time. He was known and created to be a working man's magician. That's why he was born from in Liverpool, and he has that kind of almost Cockney accent from Liverpool. He is the ultimate anti-hero because he really doesn't give a shit about anything unless it has to do with him. And did you guys know that Sting from The Police, the singer, was used as the visual inspiration to create Constantine in the comic books? A little bit of personal history of the character. Like I said, he was born in Liverpool. and spent most of his time in London. In some of his origin stories, but the most popular one, he actually strangled his twin to death in the womb and killed his mom at birth, not on purpose, but just at childbirth. He's a chain smoker. Obviously, every time you see him, he's smoking, which plays a big part in the movie. He's the leader of the Justice League Dark, which we kind of saw a little bit of last week. And then in the comic books, he is the leader of the Justice League Dark. The most common love interest that he has is Zatanna, and he is known to be a very popular bisexual character, which is very progressive, especially that he was first introduced in the 1980s and written in the 1990s. So for sure. So the first thing we're kind of going to break down is Constantine, City of Demons. Like I said, we've been breaking down the DC animated universe. We're more than halfway there with Constantine, City of Demons. Directed by Doug Murphy. This is his only DC animated directed movie, so we won't get to see him, or we won't mention his name again after this. This is based on a loose adaptation of the Hellblazer, All His Engines storyline. I haven't read the comic book, so I couldn't tell you the difference or not. And something really interesting, actually, about this movie is that it was initially released as on TV as five episodes, and then they were compiled together and released on DVD, which was on January 19th of 2019. The first half was initially released as 5 separate episodes on the CW's online streaming platform, the CW Seed, on March 24th, 2018. After premiering at WonderCon of the same year, the series was released as a feature-length film released on DVD and Blu-ray on October 9th, 2018, and later compiled and completed as 2 episodes on CW January 19, 2019. So the initial idea of Constantine, City of Demons wasn't a DVD release like we get with all the other ones. It was actually on TV, and it was episodic. Let's see. Starring Matt.
You're saying they literally broke that movie we watched into 5 pieces?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was kind of more of an online platform thing, so they would release probably like 20 minutes at a time.
Okay.
So
Sorry,
yeah.
No.
No, you're good. Starring Matt Ryan as John Constantine, who's been voicing John Constantine forever, and he does it one more time, I think, in Justice League Apocalypse War. And really, that's it. Everybody else is kind of not recognizable. This is the lowest grossing movie that they have, but it was released on TV first, so I mean, it's whatever. Before we get into it specifically, CJ, what is the synopsis of Constantine, City of Demons?
Go fuck yourself if you haven't seen the movie. You son of a bitch.
Shit. Okay. So there's a guy. His name's John, obviously. He smokes cigarettes and grows plants really fast, which is kind of still, it doesn't matter. Then his best friend has a daughter who's in a coma, and that's not cool. And he just gets like magic vibes, I guess. I don't know. Like, it's weird. Then he says, "Hey, my friend's magic. Let's go help." Then they go help. And then they meet a big fat demon who swims in dead bodies. He also pushes people into TV hells. And some bats fly out of a guy's ass.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Which is a real thing that really happened. Then he bangs the city of Los Angeles. In a bathroom, in a shoddy bar bathroom.
But
like
honestly, if you're gonna fuck the consciousness of the city of Los Angeles, wouldn't it be in a dingy bathroom?
In a shady bar bathroom with peanut shells on the floor, yes. Yeah, this movie's fucking wild. What else happened? Oh, he brings to life an Aztec god, which is pretty cool. I don't want to. If we go too much further. Okay, so there's like, we'll get into it, but
Okay, so and then hijinks ensue, right?
hijinks ensue, yeah.
Okay, so before we get into that, we'll start with Barker. Without getting too much into it, just your overall thoughts on the movie.
Now that you say like this is director's first and only movie we see, I'm kind of glad. My initial thoughts were watching him from Justice League Dark. I was really excited for this movie, and I was really let down. I was not just start to finish was not into this movie after the initial thought of it. So was really expecting a lot more from like a kind of a sequel, and I didn't see it. So
CJ.
I fucking love this movie like so much. God damn it, dude! This is probably the only movie I'm gonna watch multiple times. I wanted to watch it again.
I knew watching this because this is the first time I've seen it.
Me too.
Yeah, and I knew watching it right away. I'm like, CJ's gonna love this. I don't know about Barker.
This movie is fucking awesome, dude. I love this movie. I love this movie so much, like a lot. Like it's in like favorite movie ranks. Like I love this movie a lot. Yeah, this movie's awesome.
Okay. All
right. So then what? We'll start with and I'm not gonna bury the lead. I fucking love this movie too. Like I mentioned just a few seconds ago, this is the first time I've ever seen this. So going in completely blind, didn't know what to expect.
I'm actually sad about. I'm sad that this is the first time I've seen this movie.
Me too. I wish I would have seen it before.
Yeah, we're part of the lowest grossing problem.
Yeah, well, I bought it. I told you guys this is $20 at Target.
I might go spend $20 at Target just to support it. Honestly.
Hey, I bought it. I rented it for $3.
Well, yeah. Oh, there. Okay.
But, yeah,
I did rent it like 4 different times because I tried watching it, and I just couldn't. Like something would happen and I had to leave or something.
You just bought it instead of renting it.
Yeah, I rented it like 4 times. Seriously.
You should have just bought it.
Yeah,
I will.
You probably paid the same amount.
Probably.
But I absolutely love this movie. It's everything that I fucking dig. But at the same time, I'm glad Barker kind of has pushed it back against it, because that way we can kind of have a constructive argument on it. So we'll start with Barker then, because he's the outlier. What's one thing that you actually did like?
I like the dark and like very grim part of it, like that part where they're in the
movie?
What's his name? Goebbels, his mansion.
I forgot his name. Whatever his name is.
The guy that like swam in like the people's bodies and everything. That he was like the owner of the mansion.
Yeah.
Goebbels. I don't, but you know who I'm talking about. Like that whole scene, like in his mansion, where he's just throwing people into the movie screen and he's just killing people on screen, and like just the whole just dark and just very twisted part of that. I really like that. I mean, because you know, you hear about how John Constantine's like this like wizard, but he's in like the occult and everything. That like they didn't like they didn't hold their punches and everything. They went all out. Like it was a really cool part, and then just kind of having that all the different demons and like CJ said, the Aztec god of death. He was in there. Tecanteclotecan. I can't remember his name either. But I really like that part of it. That was really I wasn't expecting it, but I really like that part. Both of those parts actually, and just the whole occult darkness of it was really awesome.
CJ, what's one specific thing that you liked?
The huge fucking cantaloupes it took to make this movie. That's what I like about it. Dude, I can't even imagine like the board meetings leading up to this movie. How many no's did they go through before they got to a yes?
You're absolutely right, dude, because this movie is thematically is completely different than the rest of the DC animated universe.
It's an outlier, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
There were some meetings about this movie.
Oh, for sure. for sure.
Hey, John, can we see you in the office real quick? Just something real quick.
No, it's fine. Just leave the script there. No, it's fine. Just come in. Yeah, dude, no, absolutely. That's what I think. They wanted to give it a soft release and not go full out with it, which is why they broke it up, I think, instead of just...
Which is a mistake.
I agree.
This is art. It needs to be... That it made me sad when you said they broke it up. That's a completely different experience. It's not the same.
Yeah. And I actually knew that going into the movie, so I was trying to see where they could have possibly broken it up, like an ending and stuff. It must have been edited differently for TV or when they did it online because, it's I caught a couple
of them. You need it
all.
You need it all.
Yeah, you do need it all.
And and just to pile on here, so I'm really fucking impressed with how they put this together. It's about if this was a feature-length film, to tell the amount of story that they tell, that's about a 3.5 hour movie, honestly. They fit so much goddamn movie into an hour and a half.
They really do. Like a fuck ton of movie.
A fuck ton, dude. There's no fat in this bitch. It is beautiful. It's perfect. It's fucking perfect. It's probably and we talk about it all the time. These movies are known for their efficiency. This is like that streamlined. Like this is just straight black tar heroin.
Yeah, exactly. Shit that shit up into my veins.
Yes, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm going to lean on to this movie, if anybody ever asks me for my recommendation or why they should watch this, is and I mentioned this before, I'm a sucker for the supernatural, and this movie plays on that so fucking well. Like, the entire movie is one, one supernatural fucking trip with demons and, demons disguised as demons and, little monkey demons that escape from John Constantine's brain, and then a sexy nurse demon, and then you have demons on demons. Dude, it is fucking bananas. There's demons that throw people into old 1920s movies, and dude, it's a fucking trip. It is absolutely bananas, and you're absolutely right. The melons, the coconuts on the writers and directors and producers of these movies are. There's not a gene size big enough for them.
No, motherfucker. They might not fit into a car.
Yeah, for sure. They got to carry him around like they do in that South Park episode in the
wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope. Who directed this movie?
Doug Murphy, I think is his name.
I hope that dude has his own wheelbarrow carrier who just follows him around and just carries his nuts for him.
Follows him around.
Yeah. What a weight. Jesus. But I'm so fucking glad. I'm so glad he did. The world is better because this movie exists.
I agree. Okay, well, we'll start with you then, CJ. What's one thing you could at this point, I guess it's splitting hairs and nitpicking, but what's one thing that you could say hey, maybe change this up a little bit?
I got nothing. I don't even know. There's not. It's hard to find a flaw. I mean, you could say, I guess, there are probably certain places in which a little more exposition would be nice, but there's no room for it, really. I mean,
this movie
not to do it the way they did it.
This movie's only an hour. Well, it's actually relatively longer than the other ones because this is an hour and a half.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing in this movie. One of the things I love about it, nothing is wasted. Much like Get Out, kind of that same principle.
Yeah.
Nothing's wasted in this movie. But there's a lot in it also. Even throwaway lot. Okay, like at the beginning, are you sure you want me to go in to save kids or whatever? And then you find out later, oh, there's totally a thing where he totally doesn't save a kid. There's a lot of that. And I guess there are probably things I wish they would probably expound on a little bit more. But that is like it's splitting hairs. I don't need it. It's damn near perfect, honestly.
All right, Barker, we'll go with you now. What's your beef with the movie?
So, side note, did anybody else's pants get tighter when Nightmare Nurse came out of nowhere? Or was that just me?
No, it's the room definitely got smaller for sure.
Okay, that's what I thought. I agree. I agree with CJ. I felt there needed to be spots of exposition a little bit more. The whole origin story of the girl, Astra. I thought that took a little bit longer than what needed to be, and then kind of at the end, just how the whole ending kind of happened. The twist ending at the end was fucking amazing. I think it's what led up to that I kind of toned out for a little bit. I was just not into the movie until they faced the final evil guy. What was his name?
I have a theory. I think Dustin was texting during this movie, and that's why he hates it.
No, this is not true, mister. I fall asleep during Justice League Dark 4 times. Okay? I just felt like that whole scene with the Aztec god of death with the other demons, like I get that what they were trying to do, but I just kind of toned out. I just was not into the movie up until the final bad guy, you know? So I guess for me, it's just...
You keep going. Sorry, this is your time.
I guess with just me, just like there need to be a little bit more exposition in certain spots, and then the origin story kind of take it back a little bit more. You know, maybe save that for another time, or maybe just kind of like take it back a little bit, and then the end. I don't know. I guess for me, it's just it was. I was into the movie for this scene. The next scene, I wasn't so much. The next scene. I guess for me, it was just kind of like an in and out type of thing.
Okay. And those are all valid. I think you're wrong, but it's valid. Let's see. I guess, honestly, the only thing I can find wrong with this movie is that it's not longer, to be honest with you.
Which is kind of all of our beefs, I think, yeah.
I said that like a couple of movies ago, and I got my ass chewed for that from both you guys.
I'm actually upset that you said this is all we see of him until Apocalypse.
Yeah.
That bums me out, honestly. But oh well.
It's a little
dude, Constantine is like, dude, I love that guy. He's one of my favorite people in all of the whole thing now.
Just as a character, like how badass is he? Just like, but I do have a note here, but you could tell why he has that attitude towards everything and everybody, because he was so sure he was going to save that girl in Newcastle that when the devil or when that demon took her anyways, that whenever he's, fighting other demons and stuff, ultimately he's like, why does it fucking matter? Because the demons are just going to pull out with their bullshit anyways. So I'm just going to try to get what's best for me. So I totally get that. And I don't know if you noticed, but in Justice League Dark, they mentioned Newcastle. They were like, "Oh, is this like Newcastle?" No, not quite that bad, or something like that. And I noticed that, and I'm glad that they were talking about Newcastle. And yeah, dude, that would fuck me up too. You witness an entire punk rock show just get devoured by a demon, which at that moment it went from a punk rock show to a metal show real quick.
Yeah. So I think generally speaking, especially the three of us, or at least definitely the two of us, we're pretty generally desensitized, like just generally. Even that scene at that show, even to me was like, God damn, dude, like simmer down.
Sure. Yeah,
that's crazy. Okay,
when the head rolled on the dance floor or whatever, I'm like, holy shit, this is on the CW. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, he bet that girl in half. It's just like,
yeah.
Weird.
That shit was wild as hell. Okay, so that's just, we're viewers. Put yourself in the character's shoes. you're a fucking asshole the rest of your life. Like, there's nothing. You're a piece of. I would be a piece of shit if that happened to me, and I witnessed that, and like felt that I caused that. Oh, dude, come on, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's so.
Go for it.
This movie is so creative. Like, I absolutely, yeah. Sorry.
Well, that's what it counts for.
Go for it.
I think that's what it counts for at the beginning, like, and even at the end, like all those little mini, like John Constantine monkey demon things. It's just like one of those has to be from Newcastle, another one has to be from like everything. Like, you watch, he has like a billion like things that are just like just demons into his mind. Like, there's not just one or two, you know, like what probably you, me, or Abel or CJ have. You know, he's got tons, and he has to live with that for the rest of his life. So yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, I like the fact that there is an impetus for him, or a catalytic moment. I don't even know if that's a word. It makes me sound smart. But there's a reason why he's just a dick. He's a prick. And it all goes back to Newcastle.
Instead of just writing a prick.
Exactly, right. Exactly, yeah. Let's see.
He's got a monkey on his back.
Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan is perfect for this man. He's really good. Now, for sure, like, I've been wanting to watch the live action TV series they did of Constantine, but I for sure now want to check it out. Let's see.
I'm scared it's not going to be like half as good as this.
No, it's not, because it was an NBC show and it's not going to be as good. But right now, anything Constantine, I'm wanting to soak up a little.
Hold on. Scrubs is NBC, so I think they got it.
No, I get that, but Scrubs
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Like, they're going to do Justice League Dark on HBO Max. Like, that to me makes sense. You know what I mean? Because they're going to be able to get away with a lot more stuff than if you put it on ABC or NBC.
Violence and titties.
Exactly.
He said fucking.
Yeah, he did say fucking.
That was cool. That was awesome. What is this?
Wait. There was literally there was a band in this hell house that was made out of the bodies of humans in limbo being tortured as like a guitar, a drum, a harp. Like, that's shit that's not going to end up on network television. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
Yeah.
So one of the best things I love, there's a lot to love about this movie, and one of the best things is all of that ancillary stuff. So when they walk into the monster house, right at the beginning of walking into that house, there's all these paintings on the wall. I randomly paused it to like get a drink or something on when they're showing all the different paintings and stuff. Fucking bananas, each and every single one of them. Every single one of the artwork. Like, there's so much. Like, do you remember when we watched, well, kind of like Underwater, and there's so much stuff like in the periphery?
Yeah, we mentioned that. Yeah,
it's so quick, and I still to this day I can't wait to just go home and bring that movie home and just pause stuff and just rewatch stuff. I can't wait to do that again with this movie, and just pay attention to like the periphery stuff. There is so much, it's like jam packed full of stuff like that. That part where they're walking through the dance hell is just full of stuff like that. I love that so much.
When we got to that scene, I knew this movie is going to be like, I had an inclination that it was going to be crazy. But when we got to the fact that they're whipping these people to dance, and I'm like, oh, they're like this is hell, right? This is limbo. Oh, okay. No, this movie's going to be crazy. And sure enough, it was bananas.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the ending that Chaz, his friend, basically had to give everything up to save his daughter, even though he's not going to be part of her life anymore? Like, what do you guys think about that?
I love it. I fucking love it. I mean, it's hard to hear, but I mean, he tells them from the beginning, dude, this isn't. I mean, this is not going to be easy. And I kind of like the way that it feels like Chaz kind of like blows him off a little bit. Like, he doesn't really take it very seriously. And I like that juxtaposed against, well, you probably paid the highest price you could possibly pay like up to like maybe dying, but
well, and then it's not just Chaz that gave up something. Like Constantine also had to give up his love for Chaz as a friend. So the bloke, quote unquote, that he grew up with in Liverpool, like that's not a thing anymore. They're not going to remember each other anymore. So not only did he have to Chaz have to give up something, but so did Constantine. So he didn't leave the whole situation unscathed. So yeah, I thought it was very, very satisfying. Like, not poetic justice, but I guess you can almost say ironic that this was such a fucking dark movie that at the end, and you could say cheesy too, but in a good way, that love saved the day at the end of the day, So I really enjoyed that juxtaposition. So yeah,
that at its face, that is so cheesy.
Yeah.
But in this respect, it's creative as hell. Just the way they do it, it's like the physical embodiment of love, but they literally had to give up their love. It's like it's a transaction that's crazy. It's fucking awesome, honestly. It's super creative too. Like who wrote this is hats off, man.
It's based off of a comic book series. So if it's on the DC app, I'm gonna try to read it.
Yeah, they killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it.
Barker, what did you think?
You know what? Like I said, before this, I was kind of tuned out. But then watching this, I thought, okay, they're gonna end it. Him and this demon are just gonna fight it out in hell and everything. And this does like a left hook out of nowhere. Like I was kind of taken aback a bit. I was like, oh, you kind of see John Constantine not being his usual just witty assholeness, like he sacrificed his whole friendship with his friend that he's known ever since they were kids. They said like they were inseparable when they were younger and everything, that he paid the ultimate price for this, and he's got to live with it. And you can see that he did the ultimate sacrifice. I mean, like I said, you weren't expecting it. And I think that's the greatest way to do it. Like the writing of this ending was just masterpiece. But yeah, you're just like, wow. So his friend's never going to know that he did all this for his daughter, and his daughter is not going to know Chaz. And it kind of takes you back a bit and everything that, but at the same time, I think that's a perfect way to end it.
Okay. So, anything else that you guys want to say, before we part ways and move on?
Yes, I hope Apocalypse is half as good.
From everything I've heard, it's really good. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm gonna watch all these first to build momentum, and then get into Justice League Apocalypse, because I already bought it. It's sitting here. I'm staring at it. So I just got to get through the rest of the universe to watch it. So I hope it's at least like 3/4 as good.
And what's next? What am I going to be disappointed by next week?
Teen Titans, the Judas Contract.
Oh no! Yeah. I haven't watched it, but it sounds amazing, and we all will love that movie. Hopefully.
Alrighty. So what are your final ratings?
Kids Days. Like it's easy.
Barker.
I'm going to give it the tit.
The tit or the tits?
The tit.
Okay. And then where does it rank? CJ?
Number 1.
Me too. Number 1.
I've got it at 8 out of 9.
Wow. Okay.
That makes two weeks in a row that they're on a streak. That feels pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah. So aren't you glad we did this movie, CJ? We could have skipped it.
Fucking A. Good call by me. I think I decided that actually.
Okay.
All right. I have to go close the garage door because it's starting to rain. So I'm going to put pause real quick. Okay. We're back. Back again. Shady's back. Tell some men. All right. Moving on to our All Constantine show. We have Constantine that was released in 2005. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. Very underrated, I think. But directed by Francis Lawrence. He also directed I Am Legend and the Hunger Game trilogy. This storyline was based on Dangerous Habits, a story arc that came out in 1991, written by Garth Ennis. Like I said, the most successful comic book of all time on Vertigo, starring Keanu Reeves, Rachel Weisz, I should say, Shia LaBeouf, Tilda Swinton as the weird person because she always plays that. Yeah. Gavin Rosdale is in this. So yeah, it's kind of a lot of stars. It came out on my birthday in 2005, February 17, very apropos. Box office on a budget of $100 million. It made back $250 million, so not the biggest return, but still not a flop. And so CJ, how would you compare this synopsis, or what is the synopsis of this movie?
Keanu Reeves punches a mirror demon in the face, and he doesn't turn a mirror just a little bit. That's really what he does. He doesn't just turn a mirror like half a centimeter to get it out of a window. He just instead completely tries to break a window when he could have just turned it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Shia LaBeouf doesn't drive a car terribly, like right at the beginning. We find out that he's dying of cancer horribly. Then he goes to church and sees this lady who he's tried to kick out of an elevator like 10 minutes before that. Actually successfully did so. He was a huge douche, which was awesome. Then what else happens? His best friend dies. Or I shouldn't say that's probably a spoiler. Is that a spoiler? Sorry. He what else does he do? He does a bunch of stuff. Oh, he tries to drown his not girlfriend. Well, he does actually. He does drown her. And hijinks
All right, we'll start there then. And taking the animated movie into account.
You know what happened now? Huh? I said, do you guys know what happened now in that movie?
Wow, dude, like verbatim.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even need to watch it anymore ever again.
Yeah.
What are your impressions of this movie? This version of Constantine?
It's good. I like it. It's nice.
It's nice.
I'm glad I watched this one first.
Oh, you watched that one first?
Yeah. I'm glad I saved the cartoon for later, yeah. Because if I had watched this one first, I would have been so disappointed. But no, it's nice. It's good. Dustin, do you have thoughts?
Sorry, I was just waiting for you to, be wrong, like usual. I love this movie. I remember watching it a couple years back and everything, and I kind of had to do a refresher right before the show. But this movie gets a bad rap. It really does, and I'll explain it later on when we kind of get into the discussion more and everything. But this movie I like better than the animated. This one was so amazing. It gets a bad rap, but yes.
This movie, it does get a bad rap. I fucking love this movie for the same reasons that I love the animated movie. It hits a lot of the buttons that I like. I mean, it is just. I mean, Keanu Reeves, and then we'll get to that here in a second. But yeah, I freaking love this movie. I even wrote an article on it when I used to write for this nerd website. How it's super underrated and everybody should love it, and fuck you if you don't. Basically, that's what the article was. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So let's start here. Do you the one big thing that this movie kind of has against it that people don't like is the characterization of Constantine. And that's no slight to Keanu, but he's not Constantine to some people, some purists out there.
He's not comic book accurate.
Yeah, what do you think? Like, do you guys mind it? You would have preferred if it was a blonde Englishman? Like, what do you guys think?
I personally don't mind it. I mean, it's just an interpretation, right? it kind of annoys me actually when people are like, oh, it's not the comic. It's not. If you want the comic, read the fucking comic. So that doesn't actually bother me that much. I kind of like it's kind of different. Like one's like kind of this arrogant piece of shit, and one's kind of like this just moody, brooding kind of like just kind of emo, kind of fucking Constantine. I like them both, to be honest. I like the animated version more slightly, but I like both of them really, to be honest.
Parker?
No, I didn't have a problem with this one. I mean, yeah, there's times that you have to be comic book accurate, but I feel like with this, you really don't. It's to your own interpretation. I mean, you still kind of got that this is kind of John Constantine, It's not like he's, trying to be all like bubbly and, just all, hey guys, let's kill these demons. No, he's an occult guy that's trying to, make sure that the earth is saved from demons and all that supernatural stuff. So, I mean, I didn't mind for it. Like, I really liked this too. It was a different variation in my opinion.
I like this concept. I like the Keanu Constantine, and I can take it knowing that it's a different Constantine. But if like I agree with CJ a little bit. If you want that pure Constantine, then go read the comic books. The interpretation for this one was the Keanu Reeves. Now, do I think if they were to ever make another one that they would go this route? No, I do think they'd be more accurate to the comic book and to the animated series and all that stuff, where they would get at least an Englishman to do it, and they kind of have that that Cockney attitude and stuff. But you take that away, it still has a lot of the same characteristics, like still a chain smoker, still kind of a prick. He is more moody than anything else, but I mean, he's dying of cancer. Wouldn't you just be in a bad mood the entire time?
But then he has his like snappy comebacks here and there, like the Constantine in the comics does too. So
for sure,
it's just he's not as charming. That's what it is, really.
Yeah, he's a lot more charming when he's the more stereotypical Constantine. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The one that can bed man or woman,
or city,
or demon,
Yeah.
he gets around, dude. I like it.
What'd you guys think of Shia LaBeouf in this very, very small role?
I thought you nailed it. It was very, very small.
Yeah.
He's in it for a couple minutes at the beginning and then like a few minutes at the end, but kind of underutilized, I think, probably. If I had to say honestly, because when he's there, he's awesome. Like I kind of like that little play on it. Like he's actually very fucking good at this stuff. Like because he, obviously he's been studying it, whatever. He read all the books, and you could tell John didn't read the books. He just fucking went in there and like started slinging spells everywhere.
Yeah.
But John, of course, didn't notice because he's a selfish prick. Like he didn't. Of course, he didn't notice until he had to. I thought that was that's like oh, that totally makes sense type thing. Like, oh, of course, that's what would happen. He's an asshole. He's not going to pay attention to his fucking cab driver. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
What do you guys think of the differences in the supernatural? Do you like one better than the other one? Do you just what are different elements that you like from the live action movie?
I feel like with the live action is a little bit more grounded. I mean, with the animated, like it was pretty cool to kind of see that there's demons, just living in mansions and everything like that, and they kind of just walk among us. But I feel like with this Constantine, like you can kind of see that it's more, you have to be kind of in the occult in order to kind of see that.
CJ?
I like the Elm, like the hell scenes are pretty cool. And like the way he gets there is like all that stuff is cool. It feels like they just didn't go far enough and especially when you compare it to the cartoon like went overboard like times 10, like just ridiculousness. And the movie kind of feels unsatisfactory after that. Like they didn't do enough. There weren't as many, like there should have been like more demon fights. The one time he fought a demon, it was over in like when there's just bugs attack him in the street. It's over like in maybe 15 seconds. A fight between him and some demons would have been cool. I don't know. I just feel like they could have done more with it.
Well, I think there's things you can't get away with in an animated movie that you can't in a live action movie. And I thought for the time, this is done in 2005. I thought that was as good as you. There was some sketchy CGI, like when he went down to hell and it was basically just Los Angeles and he's running and you could tell he's running in place. Like that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's definitely very dated. But I think for what you could do for a PG-13 movie in 2005, I thought that they could do the best. Now, today, like if you're going to do a movie that's going to push the boundaries in the horror, supernatural, detective, whatever, like if you're afraid that you're not going to go see people to go watch it in the movie theaters, then you put that shit on an HBO Max. You put that somewhere where you can kind of do it but justice, because it's been proven, especially during the quarantine, that a lot of these movies can still do business if you release them on home video. So that's my thing, that now I don't think you could get away with doing kind of a watered down version of it.
Nope. I agree. But that's what this feels like. I mean, it's not at the time. I mean, it's hard to context 2005, right?
Yeah.
And so probably at the time, this is my first time seeing it. I'd never seen it before, which plays into it, right?
Yeah.
But it just, maybe if I saw it at the time, I'd probably share your enthusiasm, because it is a cool movie. I do like it. I love Keanu Reeves. I love the occult stuff like that. I love that they showed Satan, which is cool. Like,
I love that they dressed him up in white too, because you're always thinking like Satan's gonna be dressed in black or red, and he's completely dressed on the white.
Yeah, that was really cool.
The melting tar like at his feet when he's like kind of like sitting down was kind of a cool touch too.
It's the little things like that too. That he's been in hell, so when he's walking, like he's melting where he's stepping. Like that's a good visual. I like that.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part in the whole movie is that scene actually, and I love it. I just kind of. It's kind of like it met my expectations, but when I'm comparing, like the whole idea of this is we're comparing, right? When you're comparing it to the animated version fucking flew past my expectations, and it's just, yeah. So I mean, it's no slight to this movie. It's just we shouldn't have played. Hey, let's compare movies, because one, yeah.
One in your mind.
I felt like for the budget it had, the CGI. Yeah, I mean, if you had a little bit more budget and everything, I think the CGI could have been better. But like you said, for 2005 and just what the money they had and everything, then I think they did the best they could, and it still wasn't that bad.
No, this 2005. When was Spawn made? 97,
93,
something like that. Yeah.
Either way, we saw that movie, and my God, this is leaps and bounds ahead of that.
Yeah,
so it's probably about right for like the time period. It's the technology, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're coming off of the last Matrix 2 years before that, so people are expecting so much more, and they didn't get it. But I mean, it's just like, dude, the Matrix had buku bucks. I mean, this really didn't. I mean, it had as much as it could for the budget, but I mean, it still wasn't bad. I think the story-wise, the all-star cast, I mean, Jesus Christ, 6 out of the 7 main characters are like A-listers.
I really think there's some scenes that stand out in this, like that bug scene where the demon kind of human or whatever he morphs into like this bug thing. I thought that was a really awesome scene, and you honestly can't do it much better even if you were using today's CGI. I thought it was pretty damn good. The first scene where he's fighting the demon in the mirror, I thought that was pretty damn good. It's just spotty here and there, but ultimately I like it. I always like the idea that in these religious, like supernatural movies, there's always missing Bible verses and stuff like that. And this movie played very along with those tropes and stuff like that. Like there's the anti-Bible that has 70 more chapters and stuff like that. So
that part is cool, honestly.
Yeah, I always love that when it comes to movies like this, when you're exploring like heaven versus hell and stuff like that. And this movie played into those very very often used tropes, but they very well, and I dig it a lot.
I wish he would have gone a little bit more into like it's a game between them.
Yeah,
we're just I wish they would have done a little bit, played on that a little bit more. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know necessarily how you do that, but find a cool, creative way to make it like, dude, we're just fucking checker pieces. Like, like, I don't know.
I did like the devil in this, like Satan. He was a great actor and everything. I just love the fact that he's just like, I want John Constantine. I want John Constantine. It's just like, well, he's going to heaven. It's like, fine, I don't want him anymore. And like, he just like clears the movie. It's like, he just felt like that little kid.
Well, it's the devil. I mean, that's how he plays. But I do like the fact that instead of letting him die and letting him rest, he took the cancer out of his body and he told him, I'm going to prove to you that you're a piece of shit. And I'm going to give you extra life so you actually, come down to hell. So I like that. I like that the devil ultimately stuck it to him. And I really, really hope – do you remember the scene?
By keeping him alive. By saving his life. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like the fact that he gave him the fingers. He was getting taken up to heaven. And I hope that's where they got the scene from. This is the end when James Franco's getting taken up to heaven, and he's like, "Lick my balls," and he's flipping him off, and then he drops him. I hope to God that's where they got the idea for that scene.
That's funny. That was a good little. I love that. Keanu Reeves. That was pretty great. That whole scene, that entire bit, topped off by that, is the best part of that movie, honestly.
Yeah.
And I do love like the take on Gabriel that like she's so good she's bad kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I really, that is good writing. I really thoroughly enjoyed that actually. The story it's not bad. It's pretty cool.
Well, and that's another trope that they always use in these like supernatural heaven versus hell movies is that the angels are always jealous of humanity because God is real. He's real quick to turn real forgiving to humans, but to angels, the minute they make any sort of mistake, it's like, you guys are dumbasses. What are you doing? So obviously, angels for thousands of whatever years, they're gonna get mad and they're gonna be like, well, what the fuck? These people fuck up all the time, and you love them unconditionally. But us angels, we show you love, we show you devotion, we know you're real. We're like we whatever, and you treat us like shit. So I get that a lot, and you see this with Tilda Swinton's character, Gabriel, the angel of death, that she's willing to release the Antichrist to level humans to show her love for God. So. Yeah, it's all kinds of twisted shit like that, and I really enjoy this movie.
Well, just goes to show you, we're right. Humans are the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, great.
We're the worst.
Great acting by Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton is always like the weird fucking like. Weirdo. What's the word I'm looking for? Like androgynous, like kind of like
eccentric.
Yeah, very very eccentric character. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoy this movie. I can't complain too much of it. I think it's a diamond hit in the rough, and I think if they would have done this movie like 5 or 6 years later, I think it would have found its market for sure. But okay, what are your ultimate rankings for the movie? And then if you could only watch one for the rest of your life, which one would it be?
My ranking is titties, and I think it's pretty clear. I'm City of Demons.
Parker?
I feel like I was saying earlier, kind of in the re-up or the pre entering into this and everything, that if this was made, like you said, a couple years later after the whole Matrix trilogy, because a lot of people, they didn't want to watch this because they thought of him as Neo. I felt that if this movie would have happened a couple years later, it would have done a lot better. You know, let him get off of the Neo for a little bit and everything. Like I said, this movie's very underrated, and I'm actually going to give it very high titties, scraping titties. And I'd watch this one probably for the rest of my life.
I love this movie. I have always loved this movie, but it's been usurped because if there's the only way that this movie could have been passed by another Constantine movie is this animated movie. I fucking love this movie. I'm glad I bought it. It's different, dude. I fucking love different. I love it. I'm giving the Keanu Reeves.
There's nothing else like this movie.
No, there really isn't. I'm giving the Keanu Reeves movie Kitty's Titties. Like, I absolutely love it. It's still one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. But that's just telling you how much I appreciate Constantine's City of Demons. It's fantastic. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
All righty. So anything else before we move on from our Constantine show? Anything else? Are you guys going to pick up maybe more Constantine comic books from the DC app? What are you guys going to do?
I'm just really fucking glad we did this. And I'm bummed out that I waited 30 years to do it. Like, I should have watched this. I heard it. I remember when it came out. I wish I had heard more about, like, how fucking crazy it is, because then it probably would have propelled me to watch it. And I'm wondering why I didn't hear stuff like that. There should have been way more buzz about this movie, and why wasn't there? That annoys. I'm annoyed now.
I really feel like he's kind of not like an A-lister in the DC universe, and so you don't really hear a lot of him.
But this is the kind of movie that propels you towards that.
Well, I mean, that's what happened with Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody knew about him until it popped off, you know?
I mean, Constantine is a popular character. They had canceled that show, the Constantine show with Matt Ryan. There was such a fan outcry for it that he initially did a cameo in Arrow. And then from that, it's like, oh, you have to put him in this universe somehow. So what they did is they actually put him in Legends of Tomorrow. So there is a following for Constantine. Like, he's a very popular. He's not an A-lister, unfortunately. Like, he's not. But he's up there. He's either A- or B+, because people love this character, and that's the fan love is the only reason that not only is Matt Ryan he's making a living out of playing Constantine, whether live action or in animated movies, right? So and who knows, maybe he'll get to play in the Justice League Dark universe. Like, who knows? So yeah, I mean there is
Matt Ryan's got the character. Matt Ryan's got the Danny DeVito hat, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I guess I'm just annoyed that this movie hasn't sent, reverberations through the annals. Like, I don't know. This movie should have started a revolution.
Are you shocked that Constantine hasn't sent reverberations around the annals? Poll question.
Yes, I am. But
All right.
I mean, maybe after Apocalypse War, maybe we get more Constantine.
Maybe that's what we get our Constantine itch scratch.
It's literally the last one. But yeah, other than that, yes.
Oh, and one last thing that I have here in my notes is the animation style plays perfect for that type of movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. All right, we are now getting the fuck out of here. That was it for Constantine. Tell us what you think of the movies. I'll put questions of the show up so you guys can participate as well. Next week's show, still thinking about it. I'll let you guys know. But for sure, the animated movie is Teen Titans Judas Contract. What is something that you guys are reading, watching, listening to that you want to recommend to the student athletes out there?
I am going to recommend Constantine City of Demons. Fucking excellent movie. I just watched it this week. I can't believe that movie is crazy. Go watch it. It's wild.
Parker?
I guess I'm going to have to watch it. I'm glad that you reminded me, Abel. I mean, Doom Patrol Season 2. Season 1's fucking amazing. I can't wait for Season 2. Watching the trailer, shit's going to get bananas. BANANAS. So go out and start watching Season 2.
I am going to recommend, let me see. I'm not going to read it because I already have, but if you're trying to get your Constantine itch scratch a little bit more, Justice League Dark from the New 52 is really good. It has Swamp Thing, Zatanna, Deadman. It's really, really good. So if Justice League Dark, the animated movie, didn't do enough for you, and these two Constantine movies didn't do enough for you, Justice League Dark, the comic book, is fantastic. It's really good. I suggest you guys check it out if you're a fan of the Supernatural and DC Comics. So go visit or go read it. If you guys have any suggestions or comments, let us know on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. You can find us at NerdWorldOrder2. You can find us personally on Facebook and Twitter.
I'm at CJMFA.
At Barker375.
At Saint_Able45. You can find the show specifically on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Libsyn, Stitcher, or anywhere that you get your podcast. Go buy some merch. There was going to be a sale this week. They canceled it, but still we have a few designs up there. Go rep your NWO flag, freak flag, and let people know that, hey, I'm listening to this podcast. Those guys are kind of funny. Go check it out. So buy a shirt. We have an NWO playlist. So you guys can check out all the songs that we use in our intro. Go check them out on Spotify. If you prefer this in a YouTube video, you won't see our pretty faces, but it's still in audio form, but you can watch it on YouTube if that's something that you guys prefer. Check out the show notes if you guys want to delve into more information of the news articles that we talked about. Help us out on Patreon. There are different tiers of Patreon now, so if you donate $1, there's a $1 tier, a $2 tier, a $3 tier, a $5, a $10, a $20, and a $50. And yeah, it'll just go towards benefiting the show and making us the best possible show we can be. If you want to do a one-time donation because Patreon isn't your thing, I totally get it. I call it the tip jar. If you want to leave us a tip jar at nerdworldorder2@gmail.com. On PayPal, we would really appreciate that. Thanks everybody for listening, commenting. We really appreciate it. Anything else, guys?
We out.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Don't forget, obey the NWO. All right. Bye.
Oh.
Bye.